woman walked into Judge Judy's courtroom claiming she had been assaulted, terrorized, and forced to flee for her safety. But within minutes, Judge Judy noticed something devastating. The story kept changing. The dates didn't match. The rent payments made no sense. And the assault accusation, the biggest accusation of all, somehow became an afterthought. By the end of the case, Judge Judy looked directly at the woman and essentially said, "I don't believe you at all." And that's when the entire courtroom turned ice cold. Before we get into this unbelievable courtroom showdown, hit that like button and subscribe, because these real courtroom stories only get crazier the deeper you go. At first, the case sounded serious, very serious. A woman named Ms. Lyon claimed her former landlord had assaulted her, verbally abused her, and was still holding on to thousands of dollars worth of her belongings. She described a living situation that sounded chaotic from the beginning. According to her, she rented a room from a man named Ron Yoder after finding his listing on Craigslist. And almost immediately, things started going wrong. She claimed the environment inside the house became unbearable. Arguments, screaming, constant tension. Then she dropped another bombshell. Ron's ex-wife and child allegedly moved into the home unexpectedly. And according to Ms. Lyons, the ex-wife struggled with drug abuse and mental health issues. Suddenly, the quiet rental arrangement she thought she signed up for had transformed into what she described as complete madness. She painted herself as trapped in an unstable household, isolated, emotionally exhausted, and afraid. And honestly, at first, it sounded believable. But Judge Judy wasn't focused on emotions. She was focused on details. And details were exactly where the story started falling apart. Judge Judy began with something simple: rent. Ms. Lyons admitted she left her belongings inside the house for months after moving out. December, January, February. But she also admitted she didn't pay rent during at least some of that time. And Judge Judy immediately cut through the excuses with brutal simplicity. If your property is there, then you're there. That line alone completely changed the tone of the courtroom, because suddenly this wasn't just about alleged abuse anymore. Now it was also about responsibility. And that's when Judge Judy started digging deeper into the timeline. Lyons claimed she officially moved out around December 22nd. But when Judge Judy asked why she left so suddenly, the explanation started stacking up fast. First, it was verbal abuse. Then it became tension with the ex-wife. Then she claimed Ron nearly hit her earlier during an argument. And finally, she revealed something far more serious. She claimed Ron actually slapped her in the face while she was sleeping. Hard enough, she said, that he hurt his own hand. And the second Judge Judy heard that, everything stopped, because Judge Judy immediately realized something wasn't adding up. Not even close. Here's what made the courtroom go silent. Judge Judy pointed out that she had already given Ms. Lyons multiple opportunities to explain why she left. Multiple. She asked about the arguments, the abuse, the tension in the home. But somehow, Ms. Lyons never mentioned being physically assaulted, not once. And that's a massive red flag in court, because according to the written complaint, the assault was supposedly the central reason she fled the house in fear. But when speaking naturally about the situation, she barely mentioned it at all. Judge Judy noticed instantly, and you could see the skepticism building on her face. That's when the psychological pressure in the courtroom became unbearable. Mess. Lyons tried explaining herself. She said she didn't bring up the slap immediately because she didn't have bruises. No hospital report, no photographs, no medical evidence. But the explanation only made things worse, because now Judge Judy was trying to figure out one thing. If this assault terrified her so badly, why didn't it become the first thing she mentioned? Instead, the story kept shifting. Every answer introduced a new version of events. And Judge Judy hates one thing more than almost anything else: a moving story. Then came the rent payments. And honestly, this is where the entire case completely unraveled. At first, Ms. Lyons confidently claimed she paid her December rent in November, civil enough. But moments later, she changed the timeline. Then she claimed she had actually paid 3 months upfront in cash when she first moved in October, November, December. But there was a huge problem with that story. If she already prepaid 3 months of rent up front, why would she later pay again for November with a check? The courtroom got awkward fast, because Judge Judy immediately locked onto the contradiction. And once she smelled inconsistency, she didn't let go. Ms. Lyons scrambled to recover. Now, she claimed Ron demanded cash payments because he was shady. Then she claimed he was trying to extort her. Then she said she switched to checks because she wanted proof of payment. But every new explanation only created more confusion. And Judge Judy could see it happening in real time. The story was collapsing under its own weight. That's when Judge Judy leaned forward and delivered one of the harshest observations of the entire case. She told Ms. Lyons directly, "You seem like a very swift lady." And it wasn't a compliment, it was Judge Judy's way of saying, "You know exactly what you're doing." Meanwhile, Ron sat there denying almost everything. He denied assaulting her, denied keeping her belongings, denied the accusations entirely. And according to the police records Judge Judy reviewed, Ms. Lyons had already returned to the house multiple times with police escorts to retrieve her property, which raised another major question. If Ron truly stole all these expensive items, why didn't the police find evidence of it during those visits? Again, the story wasn't making sense, and the more Judge Judy examined it, the more suspicious everything became. Then came the final blow. Judge Judy returned to the issue of the missing property and unpaid rent. Lyons admitted her belongings stayed inside Ron's house for nearly 3 months, while she struggled financially and stayed in shelters. She explained she couldn't afford a U-Haul truck to move everything immediately. Emotionally, it was sad. But legally, Judge Judy didn't care, because from her perspective, Ron's room was still occupied, and occupied rooms require rent. Sybil cold, brutal. By now, Judge Judy had heard enough, and you could feel the frustration in her voice. She explained that her job is to determine who's telling the truth. But according to her, Miss Lyons had told 9 different stories in a very short amount of time. That line hit hard, because at that moment, everyone already knew what was coming next. Judge Judy dismissed the assault claim completely, dismissed the property claim, and then awarded Ron Yoder $1,200 on his counterclaim for unpaid rent. Case over. Just like that. But honestly, the verdict wasn't even the most uncomfortable part of the case. The uncomfortable part was watching someone slowly lose credibility in real time, because this case started with serious accusations, fear, abuse, violence. But once the contradictions started appearing, everything else became impossible to trust. And that's what makes Judge Judy cases so addictive to watch. Not just the verdicts, the psychology, the pressure. The moment someone realizes the judge sees straight through them. And in this case, that moment came long before the ruling. So what do you think? Was Ms. Lyons genuinely afraid and simply overwhelmed by trauma? Or did Judge Judy catch someone manipulating the story as it unfolded? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy courtroom drama where lies unravel in real time, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications for more unbelievable Judge Judy stories.